Yes, guys, welcome to McKola TV. And as you can see today, I have a special guest with me. It is, of course, Federico Kiko Macheda. Kiko Macheda, welcome to McKola TV. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you too, man. Thank you too. It's a pleasure.
At the moment, it's a weird time in the world, isn't it? You're obviously over there in Greece at the moment, Panathinaikos. We're all on lockdown. As an athlete, it must be quite weird to not be able to do anything or go out or.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to be fair. It's pretty weird because you used to have your daily routine, trainings and focus on your things. So yeah, to be fair, we are living a difficult moment, everybody. But yeah, it's a bit. It's not easy, but yeah, we will go through it hopefully.
How have you been keeping active? Do you live in an apartment, in a house? Have you got enough space to keep active or?
Yeah, I do. I just started to bought some gym stuff, just to don't get bored, man. It's like this, but yeah, it's not the same, of course. But yeah, you gotta do it. It's you gotta use this time to try and and improve yourself in some other things. That maybe you don't have time to do it. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that is because as footballers you're always traveling around from game to game to game pre-season. You get a very restricted amount of time off. Have you used this to do anything that you otherwise couldn't, like learn a new language or read a book? I don't know. Have you used this?
yeah, I'm trying to do new things. Even with my family. That most of the time we don't have time because I travel a lot, but. It's important to discover new things, and as I said before, maybe improving things that usually you don't have time to do. So,
Are you sticking anyone in between two nets and taking shots at them all day or anything like that?
Yeah, my son is too small. I tried to put him in goal, but you don't understand the game yet.
How old is your son?
He's 3 years old. He's just starting now to celebrate and those kind of things, but it's too early.
So that must be good for you getting to spend, because as your son's growing up, like you must miss little things being on the road and stuff. So it must be good to spend day-to-day time with him.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Is
It's
it?
good to see. It's a good thing. Yeah, it's good to see him growing up and try to understand more himself or his needs and those kind of things. So it's a good time to have this kind of feelings.
Time off.
Yeah, this time. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I wanted to speak to you today because I've been a massive fan. Like growing up as a Manchester United fan, I've always kind of watched the academy and looked for who the players coming up through. And as you were coming up, you were someone that I was really intrigued by, and I'd love to go to the start of your story because as a young kid, you grew up in Italy. What kind of upbringing did you have? Like, was it a football family or?
Yeah, it was a football family, of course, but not crazy into football. To be fair, yeah, my father, he was he liked football, but he never played it. But so, we like football but nothing crazy, But I had my environment with my friends. Of course, we used to play football every day. But as a family, we didn't have crazy family for football. To be fair.
Did you go to games like as a supporter with any of your family?
Yeah. Sometime I used to go. Yeah, I used to go to watch Lazio, which is the team I support. And but as I said, I couldn't go every week because I used to live like 30, 45 minutes from the stadium, and my family was working. So I used to go it, but not like week in, week out. So
what was your neighborhood like? Like, was it street football or was it more organized and you playing for local football clubs and things like that?
No, yeah, it was street football. Yeah, it's
Because your style, you're a very elegant striker, but you have that little you have a little bit of street in you, like with the ability and the skills and the turns and stuff like that. So it was just interesting to see where you picked up a lot of your skills from.
Yeah, it was a street football. My area, my neighborhood this is where still my family still live, of course, and it was, you know, a nice environment, but no easy one. So
Was
yeah,
it
it was.
was it a little bit rough?
Yeah, it was.
That's always good though, to give you that
Yeah.
kind of to have that reality of, like, coming through a little bit rough. It's not a
No,
bad thing sometimes, is it?
it's good because you grow up differently, in my opinion, because you start to understand things, what you do, what you shouldn't do, and learn by your mistake, of course. Because as kids, when you grow up to those places, you make mistakes, of course. But
Mm.
yeah, it's a good thing, I think, to grow up in those places, because it gives you the like, let's say, the education that's
Mm.
for the life,
Yeah, yeah, a little bit of street smarts.
Yeah.
Who was your hero growing up as a footballer? You say you were a Lazio fan. Uh, which player did you watch the most and think, I want to be like him?
To be fair, I didn't have a Lazio hero, to be fair. And yeah, a lot of good players have been through Lazio history, but I didn't have a Lazio hero. When I was younger, my father was a big fan of AC Milan, and he was mad fan of Van Basten. And so I remember he would show me all these videos of him, and so I grew up with him. But yeah, I wasn't born when he was playing, but when I was 6, 7, I used to watch these clips of him that my father had recorded during the years. But yeah, as I was growing up, Ibrahimovic was the one who really get into me, as a footballer, for his football style, his character. I really, when he came to Italy, I started to admire him a lot. So
which like with Zlatan coming through, like, have you ever met him? Like, do you have a relationship with him, or was it just from afar where you were watching him?
I met him one day. I played against him when I went alone to Sampdoria, and he was playing for AC Milan. So we had the chat about the game. We played each other. I went to ask for the T-shirt, and it was very good to me. So it was nice days to remember.
Yeah, he's a great player, and we obviously had the got to see him at Manchester United for a short period of time, and
Yeah,
it was like, if only we had a little bit longer with him, because he was one of those you just want more from him. He's a crazy character as well.
yeah.
When you joined Lazio, then, as a fan, did you feel like you had already made it as a young player coming through? Because that's how I would feel if I was a young boy and I was a talented lad and Manchester United signed me, because that's my club. I'd think like, oh man, I've made it already, and kind of just lose. Like, how did you feel when Lazio were interested in you as a youngster?
Yeah, obviously I was over the moon. I was only, I think I was 11 years old when
Was it
they.
2001 you joined? Was that?
Uh, yeah, probably, yeah.
I did a little bit of research on it.
Yeah, 2001, 2002, yeah. And I was over the moon because, as a Lazio fan, and when I had the call from them to go and make the trial, this young age, I was so excited. And after the first trial, they signed me. So it was a big time, yeah, big moment.
Yeah, because as a kid here in England growing up, we saw a lot of Italian football, because it used to be for free, on Channel 4. Like, we used to get to watch free Italian football, so we got
Yeah,
to see a lot of, like, the early Ronaldo days at Inter Milan, and then even like Adriano coming through, Pippo
yeah,
Inzaghi. Italian football was the place to be around that time, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, it
just
was.
all the great players in Italy. Did you see your future being in Italy, as a young kid? Because you moved quite young, didn't you, at 16 years old?
Yeah, over the years I was in Lazio, to be fair, I was progressing quite well. So I would see myself, yeah, progressing over the first team in Italy. Yeah, it was a target, but as 15 years old, you don't even think about it yet because it's too early, in my opinion.
Mm.
But yeah, I was growing up well. I was doing well in the youth teams, and yeah, one day I would have loved to see myself up there. But then, as you know, yeah, I went to England very quick. So all my plans went the other side.
That's a crazy move, though. At 16 to a new country, new league, new culture. You bring your whole family with you. Like, it, was it easier knowing you had your family there with you, or was it still like just crazy for everybody?
To be honest, it was crazy. It was crazy because the first month I had to be there alone, and I wasn't speaking English, and you know, you're 15, you move to another country, you don't know anybody, you know the language. They put you inside the digs, which it was a big change. So after the first day, to be fair, I wanted to leave. I told
Okay.
I told so I couldn't afford it. I mean, I
Who did you
couldn't.
have that conversation with? Do you remember?
Yeah, I had it with the guy who brought me there, David Williams. He's an Italian old scout, and he was there thanks to God. So he took me out the day, and we went. I remember we went to Trafford Centre straight away the first day, and the next day I would start training. So I would hope that things would get better, and they did, because when I walked inside the training ground, then I realized that it was something I couldn't let it go. So, to be fair, because it was too big for me, for my family, and everybody's been working so hard for this. So it was something I couldn't leave.
Arriving at United as well at that time, it was different to what we see now. In 2007, Manchester United were just about to become the best team in the world, and we were competing on that stage. And as a striker as well, for a position that's so competitive, for that to make that move, I think would have been massive, like just massive confidence in yourself as well. But you were always kind of had that trajectory set for you, didn't you? Because you were continuously climbing through the ranks in Italy and in like the under 20 under the youth football ranks as well.
Yeah,
Always
obviously
climbing.
it was a it was a question mark to go there. Sometimes when you try things, you gotta try them, and that's what I did by coming to Manchester, because I know the percentage of breaking through was very low.
Mm.
But I also knew that if I wouldn't go there, then it was something I would regret for forever. So I told myself and my family, said, let's go, let's make this new experience. We give everything for it, and we see how it goes. And of course, the competition up there was crazy, because we're talking about, I don't know, probably the best team Man United have in their history.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think
So
it is the 2008 team. I think it's the greatest that we've had. Obviously, the treble team always have
yeah, of
that
course,
won the
but
treble,
yeah,
but
one of the best. Yeah,
yeah.
but
In your first season, you were under 18's top goal scorer. You were playing with the likes of Gerard Piqué. Um, so that decision then to stay after thinking, oh my God, I need to get out of here, it started to pay off quite quickly for you. And what were your first impressions of English football?
no, I loved it. I loved it straight away. I loved the environment with the first team. Training very close to them, look at them every day, having breakfast with them is something that in Italy we don't do it as a youth. So it was a completely different. Then the training ground was amazing. I had everything to improve myself. So things went quite well. Then also the lads were very, very easy with me, even though I couldn't speak English at the start, and I couldn't understand them. But I put
Who did you
myself
speak
into.
to the most? Do you remember? Was there anyone that spoke Italian there at the time?
No, it was nobody speak Italian. That was the that was the problem. So it was a hard time, but yeah, it was a sign that I had to do things quick, even with my language. And I went to school. I had a lot of helps, and that Man United helped me a lot in everything they could. So
You mentioned training closely with the first team. Do you remember your first training session with the first team?
yeah, I do it. When I went there, there was a misunderstanding with the youth contract, with my family moving over, and so we are not talking about big things, but something that would have made me and my family live nice and normal life, not to struggle, not to move from Italy to England to be worse than what we were, So there was this day that, we had this it's like no argument, but this misunderstanding with the club, and at some point we find the solution, and the first team was training there. And I remember that they let me went out to watch the training. I was with my football boots, of course, and they were playing a game. And at some point, they just brought me into the game, and I was 16, but I didn't touch the ball because I was not ready yet. But yeah, it was something that I'll never forget, because it was like I was ready to leave, because as I said, this misunderstanding was something we didn't expect. But to go from this to train with the first team, it's the day of my birthday, it was something amazing.
Whose decision was it to chuck you in? Was it Sir Alex's, one of the coaches?
Yeah, it was Sir Alex. Yeah.
Or did he just say get on, or?
Yeah, he just told me to go and watch the training, and then the last 10 minutes he brought me in. So it was an amazing feeling, and I was 16 years old.
Who was marking you? Do you remember when you went on? Who you were next to on the pitch?
Yeah, to be fair, I was over the moon, man. Because imagine a guy from Italy that would barely see the first team of Lazio, because I was playing there, to go inside Man United and train with the biggest team that was.
Do you remember which defender you were up against in that session?
Yeah, there was. I think there was Rio, and yeah, I was a bit afraid, to be fair, because I don't wanna injure anybody, and I was hiding a little bit, because I was just admiring people around me. And
when did you lose that? When did you lose that kind of, oh my God, I'm here, and start to feel that you belonged in training around those guys?
Oh, after the first year, I started to put in mind that I actually could do it, because I was progressing very well, and I was one of the best players of the reserve team, so things were going well. I had help from Ole. Ole was my coach, and with Ole and Warren Joyce. So there I started to believe that that anything could happen. I knew that the competition up there was crazy, and I was thinking maybe I would go alone or something. But yeah, there I start to see myself as a football player, and start to believe that something good could happen.
In your second season, 08-09, you were playing with the under-18s, but you began to start playing with the reserves. I think Danny Welbeck was your strike partner at times there. That was one of my favourite strike partnerships. And you scored a hat-trick against Newcastle, which is obviously the one that everyone remembers. But that season for you must have been a whirlwind, to go from under-18s, reserves. You've scored a hat-trick against Newcastle, and now you're being asked to be on the bench in the Premier League. It was a quick rise, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a quick rise, and yeah, that's what I mean. It was a quick thing. I went from the 18 to reserves, and then find myself in the first team in a very short period of time. So,
do you think there were any disadvantages to that in the long run?
I don't know, because things happen, like this. It's not like you plan or something. So yeah, maybe, but it's something that if you would go back, you would always do it, because as a football player, you cannot wait to go inside the first team, and try to leave your mark there. So I don't know.
So you're on the bench. How do you find out you're on the bench against Aston Villa?
No, to be fair, before the game against Newcastle, I was on a bike, and Sir Alex came to me and told me, if you do well tonight, you have a chance to be on the bench, because we had some problem with the striker. I think Waza was suspended and Berbatov was injured, or the other way around. Then Tevez was coming coming back from Argentina to play. I played the international game, and so there was only Tevez up front and Welbeck and Ronaldo. That's it. So he told me, if you do well, you have a chance to be on the bench. And that night, I scored a hat trick. And
if you do well, you'll be like, yeah, here's a hat trick, boss. Just stick me in the team.
So,
I mean, talk about rising to the occasion when it's needed. Like, that's incredible. Like, that's the stuff that like Sir Alex has just told you. Play well, you're in a game. Oh, here's a hat trick. That's amazing. The Newcastle game was pretty good. Was there anything you remember from reserves football that stood out to you? That you think maybe that because it's changed now, it's kind of like under 23s. Do you think that they miss anything now from reserves football, or is it better now?
I don't know, but when I was there, it was quite good, to be fair. I enjoyed it a lot to play that league, and the preparation to the game is like they prepare you to they build yourself, in the reserves, which is something that, in my opinion, it makes you a stronger version of yourself, and to make sure you're ready to make the next step. So my time in the reserve, I loved it, but I don't really follow it now, the under 23.
Yeah, it's a little bit different now. I think it was a bit more competitive back then when it was reserves, and it was a bit more open age, because then you had like fringe players in squads playing there, and it was a bit stronger. So we came to that game against Aston Villa. The starting lineup for that game was Van der Sar in goal, Neville, O'Shea, Evans, Evra, Nani, Carrick, Fletcher, Ronaldo, Giggs and Tevez. So although we had injuries, it wasn't a bad team with Ronaldo and Tevez and Giggs and Nani on the pitch. Do you remember a lot from that day, or is it just a complete whirlwind? Like, let's go from the start of the day. You arrive at Old Trafford. Do you remember turning up to the ground, the team talk before the game and things like that?
Yeah, to be fair, all these kind of things, I was over the moon. When I first walked into the dressing room with the team, I was flying with my mind, to be fair. And so I didn't really give attention to the team talk or Sir Alex talking about before the game. I was just in my own world. I was so concentrated on myself, though, because I knew that was the day I've been working for, by moving country, by moving all my family there. So I was so focused on myself that it was crazy. And of course, I remember a lot of things. By walking to the bench, the start of the game, and having big thoughts in my mind, because I knew I could get on, but I also knew that we needed a bad result. I wasn't feeling part of the first team, by winning the league or not. I didn't really care about it at the moment, because as I say, I wasn't feeling like part of it. I was just hoping to get on the pitch, and that means that probably the team would need a bad result, because you need a striker if you need to win the game. So I knew that if we beat 2-1 or 1-0 up, things went my way. And and as soon as they scored the 2-1, I didn't celebrate. Let's not say this, but let's say I say, okay, now maybe you have a chance to come on the last 2-3 minutes. And as soon as I say this, then Sir Alex turned up to me like it was 30 minutes left, and he told me, Andres, you need to get in. And I was like shocked, because I had Welbeck. He was there before me, and I thought he was talking to him. And then he started to shout at me, because I turned around and I didn't understand he was talking to me. So he shouted at me because we were losing, and he said, "Hey, I'm talking to you. Get up." So I was like shocked and said, "Wow, it's 13 minutes to go. It's wow, it's my chance."
Do you remember who you came on for?
Yeah, I came on for Nani, of course. Yeah, a good friend. He was I came on for Nani, and I was pretty sure, to be fair, that day. I don't know. I had this
Because I was gonna
interior
say that.
strength.
Sorry, I was gonna say that. Like when I play football with my friends at a very small level, I have a feeling if I'm gonna score. Did you have that I'm going to score today feeling?
I had it the day before, to be fair, because I told all my friends to watch the game. It's crazy. I still have texts, and it's amazing because if you say now, it might look strange because I was you make it up, but no, I told all my friends that if I would come on, and then the Old Trafford would go crazy because I would score, and it's something that not even in your best dream you can imagine this moment. So it was better than what I imagined, to be fair.
It was a surreal moment. I initially remember Ronaldo scoring, and you were right next to him and ran straight up into his face and celebrated, got the ball back, and we went again. And the goal itself was something that, like, you'd expect in that period of the game, it to be hustle and bustle, the ball flying everywhere, and it to be a scrappy goal. But the goal was something of different class. Like, how did you? Was it a hit and hope? Did you know exactly where you were, where to keep? Like, because it takes some guts to be able to flip the ball around and just turn it into the corner.
To be fair, in the run I made in the minutes to get into the box, I was dead because from the excitement, from play the first game, try to work hard, and so I was dead. I couldn't breathe actually. I remember I got the first ball. I tried to make the first flick. Then my legs were weak, because I was very tired. And then the ball came out to Giggs, and of course, it was good pass because only good players can make those passes. He had other easier option,
Yeah.
And Giggs give me this ball, and so this was all about instinct. I think I don't know what else I could do there, so I tried to do this. I saw the defender going through the ball, and I tried this flick, and then I said, okay, let's do it, let's shoot, and it was meant to be. It went in, and when I lift my head up and saw the ball inside and all the stadium going crazy, and then I said, wow, it was a magic moment, man.
You lived a moment that millions and billions of us have dreamed of, and like in front of the Stretford end, scoring the goal that pretty much sealed the title, because I think at that point Liverpool went above us in the league.
Yeah, 2 points.
If I remember correctly, Liverpool went above us in the league, so we had to win.
We had to win, yeah.
And to score that goal, was your father in the stands when you ran over to the side?
Yeah.
Like,
my family was there.
How special was that?
It was crazy for him, but I think he wasn't expecting this kind of goal. To be fair, and all of my family was there. My mom was there, my brother, and my father. But yeah, it was amazing for him. For me, for him, for everybody.
Rec Fletcher asked, how did it feel to achieve cult hero status with that goal? Because like even now, everyone on the anniversary of this goal, everyone's gonna be saying 11 years since Kiko Macheda won the league against Aston Villa. Like, how does it feel to have that kind of moment etched into the history of Manchester United?
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing because considering that I went to Manchester when I was 16, that with the target, and my target was to even only play 1 minute for the first team, and I managed to do more, and to see myself inside, the history of Man United, because I think this goal is part of it, and it's something that makes. Then things could have gone better, but yeah, it's something that will stay there with me forever.
After that game as well, you obviously in this shirt here scored against Sunderland as well. You kept your run up, and you even played in a cup semi-final that year before being crowned Jimmy Murphy Player of the Year. So it was. I know you didn't get a medal, did you? Because you didn't play.
No, I didn't play 10 games.
That goal alone deserves a medal, right?
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
Is there
It's
anything you want to
okay.
tell the Premier League? Like, send me the medal out right now.
Yeah, I wanted to tell Sir Alex, but I said, okay, it's okay. Let's let's keep it quiet for a bit. Oh yeah, it's something that doesn't bother me. To be fair, it's of course you want it, but yeah, I played 2 games, 3 games.
It's the
So
memories that count as well, I guess, right? Because
yeah, yeah. Why
um,
now things have changed or not?
I think they're a little bit different. I don't think it's 10 games anymore. I
Okay.
think you get extra medals and you can just give them to the squad. Because there was a rumor that Larson got given one as well for his short spell when he came in 07, I think it was. But he didn't get one either. So
Uh,
I don't know, but it's a weird one. You
okay.
signed a 4-year deal not long after that, but your season was affected by injury. You only played in 10 games. You missed out on a League Cup final that we won. From that high to not maybe as low, but how was a mixture of emotion. Was you affected by it mentally then, or was you keeping very positive in terms of your
To
feelings?
be to be fair, the season after I was hoping for better things, but not like crazy, but to keep improving as a player, to get into the first team more. And of course, that season I started to add some kind of injuries that didn't manage. I didn't manage to get through to get over it. So I started to play around March that season, like a
Mm.
little bit. And yeah, that season was good. But of course, as myself, I always kept the same thing in myself. My same mentality, the same kind of hunger. And but that season was gone. Then the season after was the one that when I was 2011, I think. Yeah,
10-11.
2011. Then I started quite. I didn't have injuries, and I think until January I played 13, 14 games, scoring against Villa again in
Oh
Villa
yeah.
Park. And then in January we had chat with Sir Alex, and he told me to go on loan. And yeah, to be fair, I didn't agree because I wasn't ready to move. But yeah, I couldn't say no to him, and I said okay. As you
Did
say,
you
I thought,
was your first loan to Sampdoria? Was that?
yeah, yeah, it was.
Did you not want to go back to Italy at that point, or
To be
was it?
fair, I took the loan spells too easy because I said okay, I make 6 months, then I come back, and next season we try to do better. But I I actually wanted to go back to Italy. And meanwhile, Sir Alex wanted me to stay in England, and I had 3, 4 offers from Premier League, but I don't know what my mind told me, and I just wanted to play Serie A because as a kid, as an Italian, you want to try the top league of Italy, and I thought it was a good time. I say, okay, let's go. It's only a loan, and then
So
you come back. But
did you feel the loan move was something to help you improve and get you ready for the first team at United, or did you feel like did you take it as a negative almost when it happened? Like,
no, I knew it would be something that would get me more ready to go inside the first team. But of course, the decision I made was wrong because I went to a team that was struggling. I was 19 and I was not ready for it because I wasn't getting regular football. My first 4 or 5 games were very good there. I scored straight away, and then the team was not doing well, and they started to change manager. They signed new players, so it was a bit of a mess. So and mentally, I was not ready for it. To have all this, how you say,
pressure.
this pressure. Yeah.
Because
So things
it
did.
must have been hard.
It must have been up because then when you're coming from United, they look at you like it's big player, but I was not big player because
Yeah.
I was still only a kid. So yeah, they start to put some sticks around me, and I didn't manage to really to get off them.
Is there anything you feel that you could have done differently at that time, or was it just you were too young and you couldn't make it work for you?
To be fair, when I was United, I could have done something better, of course, But I was too young, and I was not ready mentally. Like, for example, I am now. If I had the mentality I have now, and then with the work ethic, with also the people around me that protect me, having stability in my life, then it would be much different. When I was there, it was all a mess. I mean, I didn't have this stability, this serenity around me, and that would give me the opportunity to work as I'm working now, for example.
What was it that you have now that you didn't have then? Is it just the maturity, or is it somebody in your life, or?
Yeah, now as I say, I have stability in my life. Then my mentality has changed. Now I start to see things differently about working for something. I didn't say I was not working there, but the specific thing that makes you realize that you can do something big is now it's here, and it was not there when I had the biggest chance. So it's all those things, that the work ethic, the willing to push more and make things happen more, and it's things that you get with experience, of course. But as now when I look back, I wish I had it when I was 18, 19. So
Do you think there's anything that the clubs, either for you personally or for in general, do you think there's anything clubs could do more to help younger players coming through? Because if we look at this, we've spoken here about a period of 2-3 years time where you've gone from leaving Italy, joining United, tearing it up under 18s reserves. Now you're in the first team for the team that's just won the Champions League, and you're scoring these goals, and then you've had that. Do you think there's something that could have been more to help you?
I don't know, to be fair, man, because in this game they don't look at you. I mean, you got to prove yourself every day in every training, and whenever you have a chance. I mean, you're playing for the biggest club in the world back then, so they help you, but if they see someone doing better than you, then you don't play. This is the reality. So
Do you think the human side is lost sometimes?
The human?
Do you think they forget, like, we almost forget about the human side of footballers sometimes, and the fact that footballers have problems, they have mental health issues, they have problems off the pitch with family. Like, do you think we almost forget that sometimes because of how cutthroat football is?
Yeah, of course. Football doesn't look you in the eyes. So whatever, you gotta keep all the other things on the side, and when you play football, you have to concentrate about it, because then someone will take your position, and you don't want this to happen. So
most definitely. From Manchester United, you've obviously you did some memorable things there, and you played with some great players. What is your outstanding memory of your time there?
Outstanding.
Like your main memory apart from that goal against Aston Villa.
To be fair, I have few because I had a lot of good times and good games. But I think my first start for Man United was amazing in the League Cup, when you told me before, at Wembley against Everton. That game, it was my first start of my career, so
incredible.
Great. When I was inside the pitch, I looked around and I saw Wembley around me, and that was amazing. I started to have goosebumps just before the whistle, and it was an incredible moment. And also the first Champions League game was amazing, and the Champions League final in Rome, which is my city. So it was an amazing memory. Even though we lost that game, but things were pretty good.
It was a great time. After Sampdoria, you had a few more loan deals. QPR, Stuttgart, Doncaster. You even came down the road from me to Birmingham City. What are your memories of Birmingham, just off the off chance? Because I live here, you see. So
I love it, man. I love Birmingham.
Did you ever go out and about, or was you kept pretty much to your apartment?
Yeah. I used to go out a little bit, not often because I was with my girl, and we used to go out together. It was. I like the city, to be fair. It was. It's. I used to live in Brindle Place.
Oh,
It's a
nice.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. By the canals and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
it's a
nice.
good spot down there. You did sign for Cardiff Novara before you've ended up where you are now at Panathinaikos, and I've been keeping an eye on you. I have an occasional bet, and I'll put Panathinaikos in because I think Kiko is going to do it for me. You've got 24 in 53 overall for Panathinaikos, 13 in 25 this season. Before the season was called to a halt. Do you feel like you've finally settled now?
I think I started my climb. I climbing back. This is what I think, because now I'm a better athlete. I'm a better footballer than I was when I was there, in my opinion. I do things differently with a different mentality. I make plans. I make them work. So all of this got a lot of work during the last 2 years. So it's something that I'm really excited. So yeah, my time here is doing well, but I'm looking forward for bigger things, because I know I'm on the right way to go to bigger leagues and finally make my mark there.
Because P Savage said, "Where do you feel you settled most?" But that kind of answers that question for us. Panathinaikos are a massive club as well, aren't they? With huge expectation over in Greece. What's it like with the fans and things like that out there?
It's a big club. It's a big club, man. And over here in Greece, even in Europe, they've been doing well in their history. And the fans are so passionate. They make you feel important. And this is very important for a football player. So I came here with a lot of question marks, and now I feel the love of all the people around me, which makes things easier for me. To work harder, to perform, and do the things I'm doing, and I'm really happy about this.
That's good to hear, man. Because like I always think about players like yourself, people that have given us great memories, and like it's people. It's easy to forget about you and then just remember when it comes to an anniversary. But you're still living the dream. You're still a professional footballer, and I'm sure when you were growing up, if someone told you you're going to be scoring goals for Panathinaikos for a living, you'd have been like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like that's the dream. So I think it's important to remember that a lot as well when thinking about footballers in general.
Yeah, of course. It's of course it's important. Everything is important. As a footballer, you want to do always the best. You know, we all know that you have up and downs in your career, but in my opinion, as you keep strong mentality and a strong work ethic, then you will end up being up there again. So this is the thing.
Hey, your old manager Ollie, yeah, his current first team manager now. When United were after a striker, did you get on the phone to him and say, "Hey, Ollie"?
Right. You not believe me, but I swear I was very close to text him, because I said, "Come on." I didn't have the courage to do it. To be fair, I don't know, but say, "Wow, come on, man." Text him. I didn't do it, but yeah, I had people around me say, "Hey, come on, send him a text. You got nothing to lose." But yeah, I say, "Nah, it's
I
okay."
would have took Kiko back in the United shirt. I think that would have been good to see. What do you think about Ollie as a manager? Just while we're talking about him, because he's obviously our first team manager now. How
Yeah.
was he as a coach for you? Was he good?
For me, it was amazing, because when you're a striker, you have him, and he's been a top gun. So it's amazing to work with him. Then he's a great guy. He's a great guy that he wants always the best for you. He spend time for you to make you improve. After training, is there to make you do finishing. He's really into it. And I'm happy for him, because of course the team is good team we have, but not like they used to have. But Ole is doing a good job, in my opinion. with the young players, try to build a strong old Man United mentality back, and this is will show up in the coming years, in my opinion. So
people consider him to be a nice guy. Do you remember him being an angry guy at times?
yeah, of course, he's always a nice guy, but as every human being, when he gets angry, he gets angry. It's they describe him as the always happy man, but himself, he knows that to manage this kind of big club, sometimes you have to be completely opposite, and this is I think this is what he's doing, and it's important for everybody, and for especially the young players and the old player to have the maximum respect in that case.
100%. Kiko, it's been an absolute pleasure. Have you got a message for Manchester United fans at all that will be celebrating 11 years since that amazing goal?
Yeah. I want to wish them the best always, and I hope that the glory days will come back, because this club deserves it, and they deserve it more. So I really hope about it.
Well, listen, Igalo's loan deal expires at the end of May, so get on the phone to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah. Now that I've got nothing to do, I will try to call him, man.
Yeah, get on the blower. And by the next time we're having a chat, you'll be playing for Manchester United.
Man.
Kiko, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, and best of luck for the future, and with parenthood and fatherhood and everything like that. I hope it goes well for you.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
And hey,
it was my pleasure.
I wanna come out to Greece. Yeah, if I come out to Greece for a game, are you gonna look after us? Yeah.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Don't even ask. All right, man.
We'll do it. Appreciate you, Kiko. Thank you very much.
Man. Take care, man. My pleasure.